President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan has expressed support for a selective ban on certain media outlets from attending the funeral prayer for murdered prosecutor Mehmet Selim Kiraz imposed by Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu, slamming the bosses of media outlets that published the picture of the prosecutor with a gun pressed to his head by a member of the outlawed Revolutionary People's Liberation Party/Front, DHKP/C, asking them if they had to be warned by the government not to publish the photo. In his remarks to a group of journalists en route to Turkey from Slovakia, Erdoğan accused the dailies that published the photo of Kiraz at gunpoint of committing treason. The president said media bosses insist on not taking the government's interests into account in their publications. Erdoğan asked if the bosses should have to be called up and instructed not to publish the photo, which he said cannot be removed both on social media and newspapers. Would you media outlets remove them when the Prime Minister, the Justice Minister, the Interior Minister called you? Now, as a president, I called Turkey from Slovakia and asked government officials to call media bosses and tell them remove those pictures. I was shocked the moment I saw the photo. Can this happen? And they continue to publish the photo unconscientiously, Erdoğan said, adding that the media should have removed the photo and not published it in the first place based on their years of experience. Erdoğan continued to lash out at those media outlets by citing the media ban imposed by Davutoğlu during the funeral and the following press briefing. Main opposition leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu said this without any regret: they didn't let the press enter. Why they should be allowed? The media revealed the perpetrators of that attack with a photo and they government officials wouldn't let in those who exposed them. I also wouldn't have let them in the funeral if I was a member of the government, Erdoğan concluded. During his remarks to journalists, Erdoğan also slammed Republican People's Party, CHP, leader Kılıçdaroğlu for not attending the funeral ceremony of Kiraz and for his remarks over the death of the prosecutor, who was investigating the killing of Gazi victim Berkin Elvan. One would wish they would have been present at the funeral of the prosecutor, displayed a national stance. Why were you not in the funeral ceremony? Erdoğan asked. DHKP/C members took prosecutor Kiraz hostage in his office at the Istanbul courthouse on Tuesday. 2 gunmen and the prosecutor died after a shootout between the hostage-takers and police. Kiraz had been leading an investigation into the death last March of 15-year-old Elvan, who died 9 months after falling into a coma from a head wound sustained from a police tear gas canister during anti-government protests in 2013. Speaking at a public rally on March 14, 2014, then Prime Minister Erdoğan had claimed Elvan was a member of a terrorist organization and that he had covered his face with a scarf. He justified the police's action, saying it was impossible for the police officer to know how old Elvan was. In his published remarks, Erdoğan continued to call Gazi victim Elvan a member of terrorist organization and asked the CHP if it has proof that Elvan was innocent. Weren't you who said he was going to market to buy bread? Do you have any document showing he was really on his way to buy bread? We announced all of the police documents over the case. He had a slingshot in his hand and steel marble balls. His photos taken while he was with terrorist organization were all announced. However, Kılıçdaroğlu is still abusing this. It was you Kılıçdaroğlu who really abused him, Elvan. It is obvious who threw steel marbles onto his grave. We all saw these, Erdoğan said, referring to marbles balls Elvan's mother threw his grave, his cherished toys. The president had targeted Elvan scores of times in his speeches, during which the teenager's family said Erdoğan insulted the memory of their son. During a rally in Gaziantep in March of 2014, Erdoğan once again targeted Elvan and made his supporters boo the teen's mother only days after her son's funeral.